today for more information about our latest real estate offerings.
Picking up the honey-baked ham is the official start of the holidays for me.
Oh, honey-baked ham is the best tasting ham ever.
Oh, I love that sweet, crunchy glaze.
And it's easy to serve.
Leftover sandwiches and football.
It's tradition.
Smoked bone-in ham, tender, sweet, crunchy. That's the tradition.
Oh, you know they serve turkey, too.
I love honey baked.
I just got mine.
Yeah!
Visit your Honey Baked Ham store and cafe, open 7 days a week behind Best Buy near Regal Theater.
All right, 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. And, you know, the one thing that I've known to appreciate is the work that our nurses do. I had, let's see, 3 years I worked in the assisted living facility that I've shared with many of you many times. And just watching the nurses working in that environment, it was amazing. And then, you know, just in normal life, going into the hospitals and seeing, as, you know, people are in the hospitals and all the work that they do, it's always an amazing thing to realize that a lot of the information, a lot of the communication that you have regarding somebody who is in the hospital is often done with the nurses. The nurses are usually the ones who can answer the questions. Barb Dehn is on the phone. She is a practicing women's health nurse.
Practitioner.
Nurse practitioner,
Yes.
sorry. See, well, I don't understand what that even means.
That's between the nurse and the doctor.
Oh, okay. She's a health expert and an award-winning author. She's talking to us about the importance of nurse practitioners and the National Business Group new survey about preventive care and the importance of staying healthy. Well, that goes without saying, the importance of staying healthy. The 50th anniversary of National Nurse Practitioner Weeks is November 8th through November 14th. Good morning, Barb. How are you?
Larry and Robin, it's so great to be with you today. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Did I understand right? You're in San Francisco?
I'm in San Francisco, and I love that you guys are in Florida. I love that area. It's so beautiful there.
So you're up early. You've been doing these all morning long?
I have been, but you know what? It's great to be able to talk about prevention and health because that's what nurse practitioners are all about. We want to help people either get healthy or stay healthy.
So is there anything special that we'll be doing this week as far as the 50th anniversary goes?
Well, you know, nurses and nurse practitioners, we're all about talking to people about prevention and staying healthy. So we're going to be celebrating and just putting the word out that there's there's about 170,000 nurse practitioners around the U.S., and we see millions of people every single day for a variety of reasons. Maybe it's a child with an earache, or maybe it's somebody who's chronically ill in the hospital. So we see people at every age and every stage. We examine, diagnose, prescribe, and treat. And we're here to see people. We're here to help keep Americans healthier.
Yeah.
And you're also there to take the loads off of the doctors themselves.
Well, Robin, as you so rightly put, so many people are having trouble finding a primary care provider, you know, especially with the tsunami of chronic disease in the United States with diabetes and hypertension. We really need all hands on deck. And you know, nurse practitioners are kind of the best-kept secret in healthcare. We're already seeing millions of patients every single day.
But you still work underneath the physician, though.
Well, many nurse practitioners can practice independently. It really depends on the state that they're working in.
Oh, okay.
But many of us, myself included, we order lab tests, interpret them, we examine, diagnose, we write prescriptions, and then we follow up with our patients. So many of us practice giving primary care, but we also practice in hospital settings. You might be surprised at all the things that we're doing to help Americans stay healthy.
Well, you also focus on reproductive health.
We do. You know, over 30 million American women access medical services to talk about sexual and reproductive health every year. Now, there's over 10,000 women's health nurse practitioners like myself who are licensed in the U.S. and who specialize in women's health care.
And now, when it's really amazing to me that nurse practitioners have been around for 50 years now, because they really haven't been coming to the forefront until about really 10 years ago in our area.
That's true. As our population ages, the baby boomers are getting older. There's more and more people who need health care. And so nurse practitioners are kind of that best-kept secret. But as anyone who's seen a nurse practitioner can tell you, people are very satisfied with our care. And they like seeing us because we like to listen. I always say, nurse practitioners like to remind people we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we talk. And people want to be listened to, and we really need to take a really good history before we start doing that physical exam.
So we need to listen as well. We need to listen to you. So you know what I'd love to know in watching people, if you could have one bad lifestyle habit go away, which one would it, I guess smoking probably would be close to the top. Would that be the number one thing?
Wow, Larry, that's such a great question, and I think it's different for every single person, right? So every person really needs to have a partnership with their primary care provider. And so, of course, we all know those things like smoking and not drinking too much, but diet plays a huge role in the risk for diabetes and high blood pressure. Also, exercise. And, you guys live in a great area, so a lot of people who are listening, they're out exercising, they're walking, they're going to the beach, they're seeing friends. So talking to your healthcare provider about what's best for you is really important.
And you also stress preventative care.
We do. And what I want to do is do a shout out to the millennials out there. So the millennials are those folks who are like 18 to 30, and oftentimes they don't come in to see a healthcare provider until there's a problem. But there's 3 questions I want them to ask, especially women. Number 1, how often should I come in to be seen? Number 2, what kind of screening test do I need? Do I need a pap smear every year? Am I too young to get a mammogram? And should I be getting any genetic testing? And the third is, what are the most important considerations when it comes to contraception and planning my family? Especially now, Larry and Robin, because we have these long-acting reversible contraceptives like implants and IUDs that a lot of people are not aware of.
The one thing about some of the things you just mentioned is that the news always has something that contradicts something you heard last week.
Mm-hmm, yes.
The ages, how often to get the mammogram, for example, or what age to stop getting them or start getting them. The news, and I'm thinking exactly what you're saying is that forget the news. Go to your doctor and find out what your doctor says. Am I on the right track with that idea?
Larry, are you a nurse practitioner?
No.
We are speaking the same language here. You do want to talk to your own healthcare provider about what's best for you. And like when it comes to contraception, I think that a lot of people don't know that there are different contraceptive methods that might be more effective at different ages and stages. And the Centers for Disease Control, the American College of OBGYNs are saying, as healthcare providers, we really need to be talking about the most effective methods, and often that is a long-acting reversible contraceptive.
The occasional mishap in a pregnancy, I think, often goes also unnoticed. If a young woman, for example, and her husband she's trying to get pregnant. I don't say they are trying to get pregnant, but I say she is. He's trying to help her get pregnant. But anyway, sometimes there's a mishap, and they'll get an abdominal cramp or something like that, and they just think it's nothing, and they stay away from the doctor, sometimes until it's too late.
Yes.
That's a really important point, right? And one of the things that's important for women to know is that when they want to get pregnant, they want to control their fertility, right? So pregnancy carries all kinds of different issues, and when women make that choice, they want to make it at the right time. So we want to help women not have those accidental and unintended pregnancies. And that's why I'm here today, because there is a long-acting reversible contraceptive known as Skyla. This is a hormone-containing IUD. It's effective for 3 years.
Wow.
It's completely reversible. And when women want to have a baby, there's no waiting period. So what women can feel reassured about is that 3 out of 4 women who use Skyla and had it removed because they wanted to conceive. 3 out of 4 of those women were able to conceive within the first year. Now, of course, women should talk to their own healthcare provider about risks and benefits of any contraceptive, including Skyla.
Barb, we have half a minute. Give us a website so they can find out the information they need.
Women can go to skyla-us.com for more information about long-acting reversible contraception.
And spell Skyla?
Skyla is S-K-Y-L-A.
That's exactly like it sounds. Barb, I know you've got a busy radio tour this morning. Thank you so much for taking time to be on this station and this show, and we'll come back anytime.
Oh, Larry and Robin, you guys were a pleasure. Take care and be well.
Thank you.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The Kremlin trying to clarify its decision today to suspend flights to Egypt, saying it does not mean the Russian airliner, which crashed last weekend, was brought down in a terror attack. Meanwhile, stranded British tourists are furious.
Hundreds, perhaps into the thousands of people that are now waiting to take a flight. We understand now from the Egyptian civil aviation minister that there were meant to be 29 flights going from Sharm el-Sheikh back to the UK. 8 of those flights are actually going to take people back home.
Shireen Tadros with Fox Sister Network Sky News. Hiring here bounces back in October as the jobless rate falls to 5%.
There were big job gains in construction, healthcare, and retail.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. And police saying reports of needles in Halloween candy in a Philadelphia suburb turned out to be a hoax by kids who've now recanted their statements. Fox News, we report, you decide.
You know the story of Hansel and Gretel, where Hansel left breadcrumbs on the trail so they could find their way back home? That's what you do when you use public Wi-Fi, or shop online, or give out your social security number at your doctor's office or the bank. You leave breadcrumbs on the trail for someone to possibly steal your identity and take everything you own. At LifeLock, we use proprietary technology to detect signs that someone has picked up your breadcrumbs to take what's yours. And unlike free credit monitoring services that only alert you, we have a dedicated resolution staff to help clean things up if all those breadcrumbs get messy. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But with LifeLock, you can keep doing the things you do every day and feel better protected. Isn't it time to help protect yourself from someone eating your financial lunch? Plans start at $9.99 a month. Right now, you can get 10% off. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood, and when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then, I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind, with a custom treatment plan that really works. I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
Want to learn more about your furnace or air conditioner? Tune in this Saturday for free tips and expert advice on how to get the most out of your heating and air conditioning system. Or get a free AC rejuvenation by being the first person to go to cleanmyac.com. That's cleanmyac.com. Saturday, free tips and expert advice how to get the most out of your heating and air conditioning system. Or get a free AC rejuvenation by being the first person to go to cleanmyac.com. That's cleanmyac.com.
Here are today's headlines from the source WOCA. An investigation is underway after human skeletal remains were found yesterday afternoon in a remote area of Marion County. The Marion County Sheriff's Office received a call for service around 3:30 p.m. The remains were found by 3 fishermen at a remote location between the 6,300th and 6,500th block of Southeast 149th Court Road in Ocklawaha. The bones were located adjacent into an unnamed lake and were visible from a walking and travel path surrounding the lake, deputies said. Marion County Sheriff's Office detectives and evidence technicians responded to process the scene. Detectives will be conducting a joint investigation with the medical examiner's office to determine the gender, identity, and cause or manner of death. No other information was released. The legislature punts on reapportionment, and now it's up to the courts. After 18 days in special session, negotiators finally agreed on new political lines for the Florida Senate, but that plan ran into a brick wall yesterday when it hit the floor. Republican leaders supported the plan, but Hispanic Republicans like Senator Rene Garcia were dead set against it. Senator Joe Abruzzo, a Wellington Democrat, said none of the Democrats liked the new map. Abruzzo said this map is not the right map. It is not what Florida looks like. It is not indicative of our communities, unquote. With the Democrats and Hispanics voting no, the bill went down in flames in the Senate. The margin was 16 in favor of the bill and 23 opposed. So the special session will come to an end this afternoon without notice or ceremony. The job of drawing a new Senate map will go to the courts by default. Florida U.S. Representative Gus Bilrakis has introduced legislation to reauthorize the Congenital Heart Futures Act. The bipartisan legislation introduced yesterday raises awareness of the continuing impact congenital heart defects have throughout patients' lifespans, promotes more research at NIH, and encourages the development of lifelong specialized care for patients with a congenital heart defect. Bilrakis said that every year in the United States, nearly 40,000 babies are born with a congenital heart defect. He described this as the most common birth defect and the number one cause of birth defect-related deaths, unquote. The legislation will bring us one step closer to better treatments and potential cures for congenital heart defects. The measure likely has a strong chance of being successful. There are high-profile co-sponsors of the legislation on both sides of the aisle in both the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate. The Adult Congenital Heart Association, American Heart Association, Pediatric Congenital Heart Association, and the National Down Syndrome Society also support the legislation. The fiscal 2015 year for Walt Disney Company was one for the books, according to the earnings report released by the company yesterday. According to the company, worldwide theme park attendance propelled the climb to a record fiscal year, the fifth consecutive year of record performances for the company. Revenue was up 7% from last year, and profits were up by 12%. Both figures, $52 billion and $8.4 billion respectively, were all-time records for the company. Disney said that the news from theme parks around the world was good, with more people attending and those people spending more during the course of their visits. Profit for the parks and resorts division of the company jumped by an estimated 14% over fiscal year 2014. The earnings report helps Disney maintain its reputation as the leader in Central Florida themed attractions. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
This is a special message for anyone looking to put their money to work. Florida Credit Union has two specials right now. 24-month minimum $10,000 CD at 1.35% APY or 36-month minimum $10,000 CD at 1.46 APY. Federally insured by the NCUA, APY equals annual percentage yield. Effective through December 31st, subject to change at any time. Visit one of Florida Credit Union's convenient locations today or their website at www.flcu.org.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny and quite warm today. Watch out for a shower or thunderstorm, mainly this afternoon, though. The high 84 to 88. And tonight, fair skies and warm. Low 67 and a few inland spots, 75 at the coast. Tomorrow, partly sunny and very warm with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, high 84 to 88. For Sunday, clouds and sun with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm, high 81 to 85. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Veterans Day in the United States, also known as Armistice Day in other parts of the world, honors the many military who have fought for our freedom. It is also the anniversary of the signing of the armistice that ended World War I. Major hostilities formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. The folks at the Voice of South Marion join you in remembering military past and present.
Immerse yourself in a creative blend of art, music, and culture at the 34th Annual Downtown Festival and Art Show, November 14th and 15th in downtown Gainesville. Explore a stunning collection of artwork by 240 artists and marvel at world-class paintings, vivid photography, unique sculpture, dazzling jewelry, and so much more. Enjoy continuous entertainment on 4 stages all weekend, including a downtown blues concert on Friday night. Plus, bring the kids for free art activities at the Children's Imagination